Hi everybody, I'm Lori with Spirit Keeper Equine Sanctuary, and this is Red. Red is a sorrel quarter horse mare, foaled April 28, 1991, which made her 28 years old at the time of this filming. Red's owner applied to have her admitted to our Sanctuary for Life program in 2015 when she noticed her health and body condition declining at the boarding facility where she had been kept. Red's owner only lived in Colorado part-time and had no horse property of her own, so Red was being boarded and used as a lesson horse at a local boarding facility until the instructor reported that Red started bucking with students. The instructor thought Red was developing arthritis in her back and that she may have a condition called string halt in her left hind leg, so they put her on a joint supplement containing glucosamine. Red had been with her current owner for about 13 years. During her years of service, Red did trail riding, horse shows, jumping, and gave riding lessons. Her owner reported that she was good about being clipped and bathed, was fine about trailer loading, got along well with other horses, and was currently living in a communal pasture with a herd of other mares. Red was receiving routine veterinary, dental, and farrier care at regular intervals. She was getting grain twice a day in addition to hay and was eating in a communal setting. Red was reported to be an easy keeper with a sweet temperament who loved to work. When Red's owner visited her while in Colorado during the spring of 2015, she was concerned that Red looked thin and no longer seemed to be thriving at the boarding facility. She contacted Spirit Keeper Equine Sanctuary to see if we could help. As is our normal procedure, we had her fill out an application for admittance and investigated Red's circumstances and her owner's situation. Our two board members who went to visit Red at the boarding facility and meet with her owner reported that until recently she was being used as a kid's riding lesson horse until she started to behave as if she had a sore back. According to the owner, two veterinarians told her that Red likely had arthritis in her back and should not be ridden. At that time, she was still eating hay with no quitting or dropping any. She was being housed in a paddock with 5 other mares and 1 shelter. They were being fed hay as a group, and Red was getting 1.5 pounds of Purina Strategy grain once a day in a bag feeder that hung around Red's neck as she ate so other horses couldn't get to her food. In the opinion of our board members, Red was too thin. They felt that because she was getting older, she was no longer thriving in a communal situation when feeding. As horses start to become what we would call seniors, elderly or geriatric, they often need to be separated from their herds at feeding time so they can eat undisturbed by others and take all the time they need to finish their meal. This was probably the case with Red, since she was receiving regular veterinary, dental, and farrier care and otherwise appeared in good health. On April 7, 2015, the Spirit Keeper Board of Directors voted in favor of admitting Red to our sanctuary program, and Red arrived shortly after that. Once Red was here and our staff was able to evaluate her behavior, and we had her examined by our veterinarian and farrier, it was determined that her pain and discomfort was due to suspensory ligament weakness in her hind limbs. Suspensory ligament desmitis, also called desmopathy, is common in sport horses, and Red's use as a jumping horse may have contributed. It can occur in both the front and hind legs, but only seems to be present in Red's hind legs. Horses with suspensory ligament desmitis in the hind limbs have a noticeably different gait, with delayed takeoff from the stance phase, and the leg will look like it's hyperextending behind the body. As the suspensory ligament becomes less effective over time, the fetlock, hock, and stifle may become more and more overextended. This is already very evident when you look at Red's fetlocks. Red is doing very well right now, although there is no cure for suspensory ligament desmitis, and her ligaments will continue to deteriorate over time. Her condition is currently well managed by limiting exercise and providing pain medication when needed. Red is in a small paddock with 1 other horse, so she is free to move around as much or as little as she pleases. To meet her geriatric dietary requirements, she is given a diet of soaked hay pellets and soaked beet pulp pellets with senior feed, along with all the time she needs to eat. We manage her weight carefully because we don't want her to be too thin. However, we want to make sure she isn't carrying excess weight because added weight is more stress on her degenerating suspensory ligaments. Red is one of the horses we have trained for cooperative behaviors. She has learned to voluntarily participate in her own care. This allows her to have choice and control over when and what is being done, reducing anxiety and handling stress. This means that she is at liberty or without restraint for procedures such as hoof trims. Because she's not being forced, Red is free to stand or move away as she pleases during farrier visits. This allows us to observe her behavior and better assess any pain or discomfort she may be in, as it is her choice whether to remain in position or walk away. We hope that Red has many more happy years with us here at Spirit Keeper Equine Sanctuary. Red is one of the very lucky horses whose previous owner continues to check on her regularly, and she has been very supportive of the work we do at Spirit Keeper Equine Sanctuary.